Hey, good morning. It is Thursday, the 28th of August, almost to the end of the month. So, what are we going to talk about today? Well, I'm going to kind of bring you up to speed of what we have going on at the shop. And also, probably before that, other ways to bring in more business, or is it other ways to bring in more business? You tell me. Because some of you may have already started doing this, or have been doing this. I've done less of it, be honest with you. And what is this? Stay tuned. Alrighty, welcome back to the channel. My name is Eric, if you didn't already know it. And yes, this is the weekday, Monday through Friday. Today is Thursday, the 28th of August, 2025. So, what are we talking about today? I'm talking about signage. And this, no, it doesn't mean giving your autographs to customers and stuff like that. It's, are you putting on the side of your work truck your business name with phone number? See, in New York State, if you're using a vehicle for work, it has to have a DOT number, all right? And for us, the DOT number doesn't cost anything. It just designates that you're using that vehicle for work. And if you want signage on your truck, like if I took my personal truck and I wanted to put the business name on the side of it because we use it now and again, that also requires it to have DOT numbers. Even if I put it on the side of a car with no trailer hitch, if I put signage on the vehicle itself, whether you're wrapping it or you're decaling it or what have you, in New York State, it requires a DOT number also to be placed on both sides of the vehicle where it can be seen. And that's true to a fact. I stopped and I was talking with a friend of mine that's a state trooper, and he's DOT. And he said, "You know what, Eric? You don't need to have it on your vehicle. You just need to have it where I can see it from both sides. And if you want to put it on the trailers, your DOT numbers, that's fine. I have no problem with that. But that still designates the truck and trailer as DOT requirements." And what does that mean exactly? That means you need to carry in that vehicle a fire extinguisher, flares, triangles to put out front and back if the truck becomes disabled, and normal upkeep on that vehicle. If you're staying within your own state, that's pretty limited to what you have to have. Now, if you go interstate, now you're talking logbooks and you're talking, there's a certain type of physical that you have to go through. But if you're staying right in your locale, and again, I'm strictly talking New York State, and you guys can say what it is in your state if or country that you belong, because we have a lot of Canadians here, of what is, or UK, Australia, that what your requirements are when it comes to doing stuff like that. But take a step back. Why am I even talking about it? Because that's one more way to get your name out. Okay? And then the other is signage on the actual building that you have. Do you have your name on the building out where people can see it? Or do you have it on a type of billboard type thing out front? Or a sign saying that? See, I've talked to you before about new customers that love us that said they never knew we were even here, and they live right within a 5-mile radius of us. And I blame myself for that, because if they're that close and they never heard of us, we're the best kept secret around. That's good and bad. It's good if you're swamped with business because you really don't want to get hammered. It's bad if you're sitting there twiddling your thumbs trying to find more work. And most of you responded pretty much the way I thought you would, because that's what you have to always be looking for work. But like with me, for the winter work, I like to start, at the beginning of this month in August, because if I start too early and try to line people up, either they will forget or they will change their mind by the time we get to that point. That doesn't stop me from lining up work for that week or the following week. And we're doing that right now on 2 customers. That one we just got that's having shifting problems, the shifting fork. And what he did was his brother was helping him hay it, and they were going down a hill, and he slammed it into gear. And what he did was he ended up breaking, it's like riveted onto a steel piece where you put, it's a double, like a fork goes in, and it moves the shift so you can go from park to low range to high range to reverse. Okay? And it's all in the movement of that on the bottom, right? And by slamming it, because he got scared going down the hill, he ended up breaking one of those fingers off. So the only way to really do it is to split that tractor. And as we explained to him, I do have a donor tractor that has those shift forks in it. And if he's willing to wait for this winter, then I can, 1, give him a 10% discount off the labor rate. 2, it'll give us winter work. 3, if I do it right now, there's no discount, and this isn't the time I want to be doing that job, because I've got a yard full that I'm getting cleared out. I cleared out both of our tractors yesterday, my tractors, and got them out of the yard. I got the guy that was having hydraulic issues as well. I got his tractor cleared out of the yard yesterday. So there was 3 tractors that we got out of the yard. The International, I still got to adjust the distributor on it. It's a little out of time, but that'll be ready to go home. Did a service on our Cub Cadet. All I got to do is get that up so we can clean the deck and sharpen the blades. That's ready to go home. Husqvarna. Claude's got to do some tinkering on the carburetor. And then that'll be ready to go home. That came in as a no run and use your best judgment. Turned out to be a pretty good machine. What else do we have in the yard? We're taking 2 lawnmowers and making one for a couple that they couldn't afford to go out and buy a new one. I had a Toro with a Briggs engine on it that the deck was totally shot. Okay, it was 0 turn. And they had a Cub Cadet with a Briggs on it, but it had that computerized throttle control and stuff on it. Claude tried to put the 2 side by side to see if he could bring the whole electronics over, but there is a difference. So we're just going to find a way. I talked to them. They said that they didn't care if we put a throttle cable and stuff on it, putting the old engine on the newer machine. That would be fine. That works good for them. But that takes time. Claude started working on it yesterday and said, look, let's work on the stuff that's out in the yard while the weather's good. When it rains, we can come in and work on these 2 engines. And he said, well, I thought they really wanted to get it. And I said, they do, but let's get the yard cleaned that we don't bring in here. So that's what we did. We got quite a bit accomplished yesterday. I'm trying to think of the right word. It's when you're busy, and when you're not, you're not. And I know that when you're busy, it's hard to find more work or think about more work for longevity, but you have to. You have to be thinking about getting more work all the time. That's my job. That's my job at the shop, is to find more ways to get more work. We're picking up a tractor this morning, and he bought it from somebody, said it was 100% He ran it for 3 months and it hasn't run since. That's been a year. So we're taking the big trailer with the Dodge 2500 gooseneck and winching that on and bringing it back. And I'm going to try to talk to him about let it be a winter project. If you don't need it and you haven't used it in a year, why don't we do it this winter? Now, if things slow down between now and this winter and there's nothing in the yard to work on, do we just hold off? And the answer is no. I still give the discount, but no, I don't stop. But I can tell you what I do when it comes to getting more work into the shop. If we've got a whole yard full of equipment, I back off a little bit. But when I start seeing light at the end of the tunnel, I'm back at it again, pushing hard. And whether it's Facebook groups, Facebook ads, updating my Google listings, sending out on my friends list on Facebook, which I think I've got like 358 for my personal, and then I've got almost 3,000 people on my business page for Facebook. I put a feeler out there too, just basically saying that we're starting to slow down. If you need to get something in and out, we're moving stuff quickly. And that will spur the ones that are trying to keep it going until the end of the season. If they think they can get it to us and back to them in short order, then they'll go ahead and get it done. Versus taking a chance that it may not make it to the end of the season because they're not taking care of what they should. If that makes any sense. Put in the comments what your thoughts are on this. And the other thing I want to add to the DOT is weight restrictions. If you start getting up there in weight, good chances are you're going to need a CDL. You don't need a Class A in New York. It's because like with my 1-ton truck, the dually, hooked to the gooseneck, you can drive that on a regular class all day long. But the minute you load that with a big tractor, now if you get stopped, they'll weigh the scales, they'll bring the scales out, and they'll find out how much weight you have per axle on that trailer, and that truck can combine them. And if you're over the certain weight for CDL, then if you don't have a CDL, they can give you a ticket for a non-CDL and park the vehicle until you can get somebody with a CDL to drive it the rest of the way. So that's another thing you need to look at. It's your job to know this stuff. And if you don't know it, it's your job to learn it and understand it. Saying I didn't know doesn't cut it. Because I know there's a lot to running a business. But those are things you have to look at. See, I had my CDL years ago when I worked at the mines, and I gave it up because be honest with you, I didn't use it. Claude retained his Class A, which means he can drive tractor trailer. So he likes to drive anyway. So usually if we have anything heavy on the trailers and stuff, he's driving. If not, I'm driving. I guess is what I'm trying to get across. You have to be aware, and you're required to know the laws when it comes to CDLs, DOT, and signage on your vehicles. That's part of running a business. And as I've said before, that if you don't have your CDL and you have no interest in getting one, then I would just suggest that you require the customer to get it to you and take it home. There's nothing wrong with that. We offer it just to get more work. Is it more wear and tear on my truck and trailers? Absolutely. Does it even out? Probably not. But we wouldn't have had that work if we didn't go get it and take it back, because It just takes that one more thing away from the customer that they have to worry about. How do I get it to you and get it back? And I bumped our pickup and drop off enough so that anybody can go to Tractor Supply and rent one of their trailers to take their lawnmower to us, and then go to Tractor Supply and rent it again to come get it and take it home. I did that purposely so that Tractor Supply would sound like the cheaper way, because we're just a tad bit more, but I'm also figuring in labor. There's two of us in the truck most of the time. If a customer thinks they can save on that labor, all the power to them. I'd rather be at the shop all day long than running the roads here and there. Because as I've said before, if I'm not in the shop, I'm missing phone calls. A lot of people don't like to leave messages. If you're not present, you're not present. And they'll move on. We have people that just stop in and nobody's here. The place is all locked up because we're out doing pickup or drop-offs. So there's disadvantages to it as well, unless you have somebody that's doing the pickup and drop-off and the other person stays at the shop. And we tried that. And clouds are going on 74 this year, and it's too much for one guy to try to be pushing a lawnmower up onto the trailer. We put winches on all the trailers but the small one, and that's the one that we use the most. That's the next thing, is putting a winch on that so that we can just simply hook onto it and run the winch and get it on. Is it still easier with two guys? Absolutely. You can get things strapped down on the big trailer, get tractor lined up over the axle tires on the trailer so your weight balance is right. Yes. But that's what business is. It's a lot of give and take. And you have to figure out what works best for you. What works best for me may not even work at all for you, if that makes any sense. So on that note, you guys have a great Thursday. We'll catch you here bright and early for the weekday, for the last day of the week, Friday, tomorrow morning. On that note, you guys have a great day.